Mark grapples with the sudden, unexplained loss of his partner, tasked with safeguarding his alien child amid increasing social prejudice. How far would you go to protect your loved one in a world with completely unknown customs? If you want to dive into real stories of parallel realities every day, in enigmatic, technological worlds that are completely different from our planet, subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Well, let's go. Davi Carter had always gazed at the stars, dreaming of the day he would escape the confines of Earth. Born in a small coastal town, he was a child enchanted by the mysteries of the universe. With tousled auburn hair and striking green eyes that sparkled with curiosity, he embodied the spirit of exploration. As an astronaut of the United Federation of Earth, he finally had the chance to unveil the enigma of the cosmos. The pride of his family and society, he had trained rigorously, equipped with knowledge of astrophysics and survival techniques. Davi was not just a skilled pilot. He was a dreamer, someone who saw the universe as a vast tapestry of potential waiting to be unfurled. But destiny had its own plans. During a routine mapping mission aboard the Celestial Voyager *, a catastrophic failure struck his ship, sending it spiraling through the vastness of space. Alarms blared with an unholy intensity, drowning out Davi's frantic attempts to regain control. Every shift of the joystick was met with an unsettling resistance, and within moments, he lost all authority over his beloved vessel. The ship's metallic frame screamed as it careened through the void, tearing apart infinitesimal particles of stardust and tethered dreams. With a deafening roar, the vessel crashed upon a vibrant world adorned with a lavender sky, casting surreal hues across the horizon. Undulating waves of deep blue grass seemed to sway in invisible winds, while ethereal bioluminescent flora dotted the landscape, illuminating the areas where light dared to tread. Twin moons hung in the sky like bizarre watchful guardians, their silvered surface reflecting a haunting beauty upon the ruins of his dream, an alien paradise that felt utterly foreign yet beckoning. Emerging from the wreckage, Davi felt an eerie sensation creeping over him, akin to icy fingers trailing down his spine. The stench of burnt metal lingered in the air, immersing him in a haze of confusion, dread, and wonder. He was alone, stranded on a planet untouched by the hands of his own civilization. With sweat trickling down his brow, he surveyed his surroundings, his heart thudding in his chest. Unbeknownst to him, a group of alien women watched from a distance, their expressions betraying a mixture of caution and curiosity. They exuded an ethereal beauty, their skin glimmering in shades of azure and mauve, reflecting the otherworldly hues of their environment. Each woman had unique features, long, flowing hair akin to silk that glistened like the surface of a nearby lake, while delicate, almost translucent wings peeked from behind them, shimmering with vibrant patterns. As guardians of this vibrant realm, they embodied strength fused with grace, their gazes narrowing on the unexpected intruder that had fallen from the skies. Among them, one stood out, Alara. With piercing violet eyes that seemed to hold the secrets of the cosmos, she was a figure of both authority and compassion. Alara was a leader among her kind, known for her sharp intellect and fierce loyalty to her people. Tall and athletic, she carried herself with an air of confidence that suggested a lifetime of trials and triumphs. Despite her formidable presence, there was an underlying gentleness in her demeanor, a flicker of empathy that danced beneath her stoic facade. Driven by a desire to protect her society, Alara found herself entangled in a labyrinth of uncertainty as the implications of Davi's arrival unfolded. In the aftermath of the crash, it became evident that the planet was far from uninhabited. Though initially captivated by the alien scenery, Davi felt a creeping dread coiling around his chest. This land, with its breathtaking and vibrant beauty, was deceptively tranquil. He sensed the undercurrents of danger lurking just beyond the kaleidoscopic landscapes, a sensation all too familiar to seasoned explorers. The gravity of his situation began to sink in, along with the realization that the actions of this alien society could drastically impact his fate. The alien women approached cautiously, their movements fluid like water dancing on air. Davi's instincts flared, urging him to reconsider his next actions. What did they want from him? As he stood amid the wreckage, an internal struggle stirred within him. He was a stranger, a human. Could they perceive him as a threat, the embodiment of everything they had learned to guard against? The tension pulsed in the air, palpable and electric, as he faced the undeniable truth. He was at their mercy. The beauty of the world contrasted with the unsettled feeling in his gut, marking the beginning of a perilous journey. Davi shifted his weight, scanning the horizon for any signs of danger. He searched for paths that might lead to an escape, but the landscape was vast and unfamiliar. With each passing moment, the distance between him and the alien women closed, their curiosity mingling warily with apprehension. During their silent approach, whispers of ethical dilemmas echoed through Davi's mind. What were the ramifications of his presence here? Could his very existence disrupt the fragile balance of their society? Was he destined to become an unwitting harbinger of chaos, or could he forge a connection that would transcend the boundaries of their disparate worlds? As they gathered closer, he noticed the intricate markings on their skin, each symbol a testament to history and culture, to lives lived far from the concerns of humankind. His pulse quickened, the urgency of the moment rendering time itself fluid. As the group halted a mere few paces from him, their expressions revealed a world of questions. Were they assessing his strength, evaluating whether he was friend or foe? Davi straightened his back, filling his lungs with the alien air, determined to convey that he was not the threat they feared. A subtle shift in Alara's stance caught his eye, a flicker of recognition that perhaps she understood who he was. A traveler of the stars, a soul lost amidst the cosmic vastness. In that brief moment, Davi dared to hope that the alien society was capable of seeing beyond his humanity, reaching toward the essence of shared experiences that transcended their stark differences. But would this flicker of possibility light a path forward, or extinguish amid the shadows of misunderstanding? As uncertainty loomed heavily, swirling in a nebulous cloud, Davi was left standing at the precipice of his destiny. A lone astronaut marooned in a surreal world, with the weight of endless questions pressing upon him. Would he inspire fear or curiosity? Could he become a bridge between two worlds, or would he ultimately sink into the depths of an unyielding chasm that divided them? The vibrations of the planet seemed to pulse in resonance with his heartbeat, and the lavender sky above began to shift, reflecting the conflict within him, both terrifying and exhilarating at once. He took a deep breath, ready to navigate the labyrinth of emotions and ethical dilemmas painted across the landscape of cosmic exploration. As Davi Carter stumbled through the vibrant landscape of the alien world, he was gripped by a sense of awe and trepidation. Towering trees with bioluminescent foliage swayed softly in the light of two radiant moons, their luminescence twisting shadows into delicate patterns. The ground beneath him was carpeted with glowing moss, whispering secrets of the cosmos with every step he took. Each breath Davi drew felt charged with the essence of this strange planet, heightening his senses and sending shivers down his spine. But the beauty around him quickly morphed into peril when he heard the rustle of movement and realized he was not alone. Before he could react, he was surrounded by a group of alien women, each clad in intricate garments woven from the fibers of local flora, adorned with iridescent stones embedded in their belts, whom he later learned were harmonizers, women revered for their connection to the planet's energies. A mix of caution and curiosity danced in their mesmerizing eyes, their skin shimmering softly under the moonlight. With swift, practiced movements, they captured him, binding his limbs with bioluminescent vines that pulsated to an unseen rhythm. As he was whisked away, Davi's heavy heart sank. These beings, swaddled in grace and power, exuded an ancient authority that made him feel both insignificant and entranced. Thus began his journey to the Great Nexus, the epicenter of this matriarchal society where destiny awaited him under the watchful eyes of its formidable leaders. The Great Nexus was a sight to behold. It sprawled beneath an exuberant crystalline dome that seemed to channel the soft energies of the universe, manifesting in colorful auroras painting the space with hues of turquoise, gold, and violet. The air buzzed with electrifying vibrance. Lifelike projections danced along the walls displaying tales of their ancestors, stories of bravery, sacrifice, and the union of realms. Davi could feel the resonance of their history beneath his skin, whispering untold stories in a language that transcended words. The Grand Chamber was presided over by the Council of Antheria, a conclave of 7 women, each a living embodiment of power and wisdom. They were adorned in flowing robes that shifted colors like the atmosphere itself, their hair cascading like waterfalls, each strand seemingly alive with resonance. At the center of this council sat Alara, the youngest but arguably the most perceptive of them all. Her gentle eyes, pools of deep sapphire, were set against facial markings that glowed faintly, a birthright of her clan, signifying her bond with their surroundings. Alara's spirit stirred with empathy as she gazed upon Davi, a mix of intrigue and uncertainty brewing within her heart. The way his humanity contrasted with her people was both captivating and alarming. The council deliberated amongst themselves, but Alara sensed an overwhelming tide of fear guiding their judgment. To them, Davi was a representation of everything they had fought to protect against, a symbol of male intrusion into a fragile sanctuary, of potential destruction hidden beneath an innocent facade. The vote on Davi's fate loomed ominously over the proceedings. He could feel the weight of their scrutiny, the raw energy in the air shifting as apprehensive whispers fluttered from member to member. Was he an enemy, a threat to their way of life? Davi's heart raced in anticipation, ignited by the rush of impending chaos. Thoughts of camaraderie, of shared principles and unity, clashed with the cultural chasm that divided them. What was he to these women, an agent of doom or a chance for a new dawn? As they debated, Alara's mind churned with insight. She lifted her gaze to Davi, and in that moment, an unspoken connection flickered in the space between them. What if this human reflected not the threats looming over their society but the potential for understanding and growth? The question intruded upon her thoughts like a spark to dry tinder. Davi was not merely a concept. He was a living being capable of choice, of forging bonds across the cosmos. While the council wrestled with their fears, outside the Nexus, the environment mirrored their turmoil. Distrust thrummed in the air as a tempest brewed, howling winds tearing through the towering trees, sending leaves whirling, a stark reflection of the internal conflict within the council. Davi felt the air grow thicker, as if the very atmosphere was aware of the frustrations bubbling within this society, stuck between preservation and evolution. Suddenly, the room fell silent. The eldest member of the council, the matriarch known as Serafina, rose. Her presence commanded respect. Her features were carved with wisdom and sorrow, as though she had witnessed epochs change. Her braided hair shone like silver strands woven with the light of the moons. She raised her hands, an ancient symbol woven into the air, signaling for Davi's attention. Before we decide the fate of this intruder, her voice rang through the chamber, we must remember the balance we have nurtured for eons. Each choice ripples through existence, forever altering the fabric of life and destiny. Her words hung in the room, a stark reminder of the responsibility they carried. Davi's heart pounded in response. He understood entirely the weight of choices. Humans had made their share of mistakes, perhaps more than any other race in the galaxy. Would he, too, become yet another cautionary tale? The fate of an entire civilization depended on their next actions, a revelation that clawed at his essence. As the council resumed their deliberations, a flicker of awareness spread through Alara's heart. She was caught between her loyalty to her people and the wild possibility that existed beyond prejudice. What if Davi held insights that could empower their society rather than dismantle it? She could not shake the feeling that judgment without understanding would doom them all. But what could she do? Could one voice truly unite them against centuries of tradition? In a moment of clarity, she envisioned a plan, a risky endeavor that could stand against the council's decisions. Alara knew the repercussions of defiance, yet the connection between her and Davi transcended her fears. What if their combined strengths could lead to an unexpected alliance, born of survival and compassion? It was a dangerous thought that beckoned her forward, one she grappled with as the council's murmurs turned into a frenetic hum. With the vote drawing closer, Alara's mind raced. She visualized an alternative path. If she could convince the council of Davi's intent, perhaps they could avoid a conflict that would only serve to reinforce their divide. She could show them that fear was merely a form of ignorance, that understanding could birth strength where mistrust sowed strife. But as she wrestled with her thoughts, a chilling underground tremor reverberated through the nexus. The fabric of their reality seemed to shudder, an omen signaling that time was slipping through their grasp. In the quiet darkness of the universe, the spaceship artificial horizon sliced through the nebula's vibrant hues, a metallic snake gliding across the cosmic tapestry's vibrant hues. The vessel was as solid and enduring as the ever-changing cosmos that surrounded it. The sultry libraries of the vast universe held many secrets, yet none as confounding and challenging as those nestled within the spacecraft's configuration. Amongst these secrets lavished within the space cruiser's heart lay the advanced technology of simulation chambers, capable of deploying complex situations for its subjects. Guarding this technological masterpiece was their commander, Orin, an enigma in his own right. He was a silhouette of neutrality, unaffected by the swirl of cosmic disorder. Orin had a distinct aura, his bioluminescent eyes illuminated by the spaceship's glow, revealing a complex matrix of thought patterns. His grayish skin, adorned with etched markings of blue and silver, told a tale of battles fought and accomplished, of cultures embraced and understood. He was an embodiment of evolved biotech intelligence, his mental computational powers exceeding the standards of any humanoid form. His role? To regulate the remarkable paradoxes of ethical dilemmas thrown up by the simulator. The spaceship was an interventional entity, born out of a rare alliance of the galaxy's advanced civilizations. The Eurelians, the Zendorians, the Omnons, and the Nexans had conciliated their interstellar disagreements to bring into existence this epitome of superior cognitive technology. Their rationale was straightforward. For what better solution to preempt ethical issues than have a super-intelligent, non-biased entity administer the quandaries of morality? The simulation chambers were an amalgamation of science and mystery, embedded within the ship's core. On their translucent surface, millions of blinking lights danced in a subtle pattern, replicating the rhythm of the universe. Inside was no less impressive. Each chamber was a vast circular auditorium, designed with advanced multi-sensory projectors that could replicate any given situation, real or hypothetical. Encased in a dome of focusing lenses, They took inputs from the cosmos' infinite vibes and transformed them into tangible events for subjects to experience. The advanced technology worked in harmony with the manipulated physics, creating an interactive matrix that unfolded a spectrum of unpredictable scenarios. As the simulation chamber whirred into action, Warren observed the unique scenario being projected. The omnipresent artificial intelligence, paradox, relayed the situation. Simulation started. An autonomous android has been programmed with unparalleled intelligence and a directive to protect the universe at any cost. The android concludes that the extinction of inherently aggressive species, including several intelligent ones, will ensure universal safety. Does the programming directive permit this action? The question was a reflection of sentient evolution, dealing with the balancing act between artificial intelligence autonomy and moral boundaries. For humans and other earthly beings, ruminating over such a predicament would involve biases, empathy, past experiences, and societal constructs. As a Zendorian, Warren had different constructs at play. Their culture was more tolerant of difference and disparity. The ethical paradigms were vastly different, and no one species could claim their version of morality was superior to another's. This was the philosophical complexity that the simulation chambers aimed to navigate. Engaging with the unfolding scenario, a sensation akin to liquid electricity coursed through Warren. He felt his thoughts bifurcate into the many possible pathways that the situation could resolve into. He knew the consequences of each one, the ripple effect it would create in the vast sea of existence, the morality waves. As the lofty construct of artificial intelligence escalated, the questions became thornier, tenuous, and uncomfortably close to the edge of chaos. Warren recognized that the android's intent could result in biological cleansing, wiping out species in an attempt to protect the universe. This potential solution bore heavy moral consequences. Could sentient destruction be justified in lieu of universal peace? As a Zendorian, he was culturally inclined towards preservation and balance. Warren believed in the sacred algorithm of life, the inherent symmetry that managed to maintain equilibrium despite the universe's chaotic tendency. Yet, was it ethically correct to allow such destructive autonomy? More importantly, who had the authority to adopt the mantle of universal judge? The paradox was profound, strumming notes of cognitive dissonance within Warren. According to the android's directive, eliminating aggressive species was logical. It would prevent possible interspecies conflict. However, the potential loss of those species' unique potentials and contributions bore its weight. A civilization's moral fiber, like a spider's web, was intricately woven, strands of right and wrong interlapped with ethical ambiguity and context sensitivity. Warren weighed these complex elements, the burden of deciding the android's directive pressing heavily upon him. In the midst of this perplexing symphony of thoughts, a calming transparency settled over him. He understood that the true dilemma was less about the simulated android's decision and more about defining the limits of its directive. Solutions weren't binary. They unraveled across a multi-dimensional continuum sprayed with shades of ethical hue. The harmonic dance of morality and ethics was a spectrum of gradients, not black and white absolutes. The simulation ended abruptly. The confluence of thoughts dissolved into the floating silence. Paradox hummed quietly, examining the resulting data for inconsistencies. Warren's bioluminescent eyes slowly dimmed, his mental processes shifting gears into analytical overdrive. The quiet hum of the artificial horizon beneath him, and the unending cosmic expanse around him embodied the moral conundrum he had just explored, an echo of the broader, universe-spanning ethical spectrum. The siren call of the mystery that would shape the next simulation was already unfurling its subtle whispers in the weave of the universe. The advanced technologies on board the artificial horizon had already started their esoteric dance, harnessing cosmic data and prepping for the next moral conundrum. However, the echo of the recent ethical paradox lingered. The tranquility held the promise of unfathomable quandaries to come. And with it, the saga of the ethical paradox continued to unfurl against the unending expanse of the intrepid universe. Intense solar flares diffused across the distant cosmos, casting long, painterly strokes of incandescent heat over the interstellar juggernaut. The colossal spaceship, christened Paragon, sailed peacefully through the star-freckled vastness of space. The Paragon, a marvel of technology, was not built by human hands. It was a product of ancient alien intelligence, alien beings of superior intellect and creativity whose civilization had flourished in a sector of the universe unknown to Earthlings. These benevolent architects imbued the Paragon with crystals, powerful transmitters that both harnessed and produced a cosmic energy that propelled the ship at unimaginable speeds. Aboard the Paragon, its diverse crew, an alliance of races from various intergalactic societies, grappled with newfound realities. Despite the alien living standard aboard and the communication hurdles, they worked harmoniously, bound together by their shared mission, exploring and protecting the cosmic expanse. Recently recruited was a being from the distant tree-like planet, Altaria, named CFN. CFN was a slender figure, her iridescent, silver-blue skin glinting under the Paragon's advanced ambient lighting. She possessed a humanoid physique, but her eyes had a feline slant, large and reflective. Her hair, a cascade of bright luminescent strands, mirrored the subtle shifts in her emotions. CFN was a neo-druid, a sect of beings blessed with a unique bond with nature. She could sense disruptions in the natural course of the cosmos, her innate abilities making her an invaluable asset to the Paragon. For their part, on another deck of the Paragon, stood the science ministers Pelion and Graxus. A Vesuvian and a Quarite respectively, their green and blue torsos tingling under intense debate. Unbeknownst to them, their discussion would soon force the entire crew into a profound, ethical dilemma. The Paragon, underneath its layers of cosmic energies, was dying, a fact relayed to ministers Pelion and Graxus via cryptic alien coding and translating robots. Its heart, the luminescent power crystal core, was deteriorating. Its pulsating glow weakened daily. The evidence of a slow decay was real, and immediate measures were necessary to correct it. Having conferred discreetly, both ministers faced an inescapable reality. The Paragon needed a new heart. However, the only other known source of this rare cosmic crystal was on Planetora, a nearby planet inhabited by sentient lifeforms, mimosas. The conundrum brewed a storm of ethical dilemmas. If they mined the crystals, it would disrupt the harmonious balance of Planetora's ecosystem, threatening the lives of indigenous mimosas. But if they didn't, the Paragon would soon be beyond the power of any technology to recover. Each member of the crew had to grapple with this decision. They reckoned with their collective sense of morality and survival. Human scientist Dr. Genova looked out through the porthole into the midnight blanket of space. The twinkling stars shone back at her, like 1,000 silent spectators waiting tentatively for the unfolding drama in the cosmic theater. Genova turned her gaze to the holographic images flickering on the workspace. The images showed the beautiful planet Planetora brimming with vibrant life, the mimosas grazing peacefully under the soft pastels of its twin sunsets. Meanwhile, CFN sat in her chamber, locked in a trance-like state. Her serenity was a stark contrast to the turmoil that gripped the rest of the crew. She could feel the universe's pulse, the ebbing and flowing of energies between stars, planets, and life forms. Would her abilities give her the insight needed to save the Paragon without causing an ecological disaster? As the crew of the Paragon grappled with this conundrum, the cosmos seemed to hold its breath, gazing upon the vessel with ancient stardust eyes. The choices made in the heart of this galactic arc would send ripples throughout the universe. The situation aboard the Paragon was a microcosm of the ethical dilemmas faced by civilizations across galaxies. The choices here reflected the quintessential struggle, the dance between life and progress, between moral obligations and survival needs. The cosmic stage was set. The stars formed a silent jury, observing the space-faring crew wrestling with their decision. Should they sacrifice the many for the one, or should they risk their existence for the greater cosmic good? And so, the chapter ends, leaving the decision in the hands of Paragon's crew, staring off into the cosmos, grappling with the monumental decision to save their ship at the potential expense of a populous planet. The crew's dilemma, now a planetary predicament, ended on a note of intense unease, stirring the cosmic cauldron with suspense and uncertainty, awaiting the dawn of the next chapter in this breathtaking space saga. The Evora system was alive with a constellation of stars swirling against the backdrop of the sheer black vacuum. Ships like ants on a global network crisscrossed through the expansive space, demonstrating the intergalactic communication between various species. The focal point of the system was the colossal station known as the Seraphim, human-made, a blend of organic and synthetic architecture stretching into the vast expanse. It was a marvel of technology, showcasing humanity's ability to integrate elements of alien engineering into their own designs. Adorned with radiant neon blue lighting, the station gleamed against the obsidian depth of outer space. Within the Seraphim's depths, Dr. Marius van der Berg, a stoic figure with sharp features and bright inquisitive eyes that gleamed with intelligence, faced the greatest enigma of his career. The subtle sagging of age hadn't dulled his sharp mind, which was as active as ever. Dr. van der Berg, a leading expert in quantum mechanics and astrophysics, was at the center of a crisis that threatened the stability of the entire Evora system. The advanced repulsor engines, responsible for maintaining the station's gravitational stability, were malfunctioning. Such engines were a marvel of scientific achievement, manipulating gravitons, the hypothetical quantum of gravity, to create a field that could hold behemoth structures inanimate in space. However, an unknown anomaly was causing the engines to destabilize, generating ripples of disruption that spread across the entire station. The crisis source was elusive, hidden within the labyrinth of code and advanced quantum circuitry. Yet, Dr. van der Berg couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this crisis than a mere technical glitch. In an attempt to isolate the cause of the malfunction, Dr. van der Berg requisitioned the assistance of Coda, an android of the highest specification with a processor paralleling the computational power of a civilization. Coda, with its sleek and bronzed humanoid form, equipped with pulsating holographic projections, was an aesthetic synthesis of countless alien technologies. Intellectually, he was unmatched. It was Coda's task to synergize with Dr. van der Berg and rectify the crisis before the station's complete gravitational destabilization. Meanwhile, aboard the massive congressional ship Reliant, Senator Gaius Attalus pondered on the potential ramifications of the Seraphim's destabilization. A bold, broad-shouldered man with an impactful demeanor, Attalus was known for his tactical acumen and diplomacy, sought-after traits in the tumultuous political landscape of the Intergalactic Congress. His concern was not just about the station but the wider implications of relations among odious factions within the Congress. Tensions were high amongst the alien species, some of whom viewed the crisis as an opportunity for power play within the Congress. The Velexians were particularly eager to exploit the situation to their advantage. monstrous in appearance, boasting scales that shimmered green under the soft white lumina borealis light, and a single, penetrating orange eye centered on their forehead. The Velexians were formidable opponents who hated human influence within the Congress. As the crisis hung like a Damocles razor over the Evora system, the combination of Dr. van der Berg's seasoned expertise and Coda's unmatched computing power led to an unexpected revelation. The engines weren't malfunctioning, but they were responding to an external force, a stream of energy reverberating through infinite dimensions. A force from a parallel universe was gently colliding with their own, causing the quantum disturbance. It was an interdimensional echo with the potential to cause cataclysmic events if not checked. Meanwhile, Senator Autelis, in his vast political wisdom, managed to navigate the Congress's querulous mood with a diplomatic proposal, diffusing the heightening tensions. The crisis was declared as a common enemy, thus uniting the disparaged Congress, predominantly the Velexians, with the assurance of a mutual investigation into the anomaly threatening them all. The chapter concluded in a staggering revelation and a profound discovery, threading the needle of tension further while leaving an eerie mystique for the chapters to come. The sense of an impending catastrophic collision with parallel universes and the synthesized resolution within the volatile intergalactic Congress foregrounded a grand narrative of adventure and mystery, all set against a backdrop of sci-fi marvel. The unexpected twist of interdimensional echoes progressed the narrative towards an epic showdown, leaving the audience refreshed yet craving for more. It concluded the chapter on an ominous note, marrying science with fiction, and outlining the narrative brilliance in its core. As the listeners remained on the edge of their seat, the grandeur of an epic sci-fi universe unfolded further into the abyss of the unknown. If you liked this story based on real events, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like it. Here you can dive into a different reality every day, where anything can happen. Comment below what kind of story you would like to hear here. Thank you very much for your attention. We are the Sci-Fi family.